What's up, everybody in YuGiOh YouTube land? This is Jesse Byrne representing Team FTK. So today I'd like to start off by wishing everybody a happy Halloween. I hope you guys have fun dressing up and eating lots of candy and all that other good shit. And so today we're going to have a special guest upload from BystanderX79. He's a cool guy. My good friend Chris B wanted to post on the channel, so I've decided from now on Wednesdays, we're going to do Wednesdays for special guest uploads. So if you're a fan of the channel, a YuGiTuber, and you want to get your name out there, make sure to message us and work together with Team FTK to post videos on Wednesday. And then also our normal schedules are Monday and Friday. So make sure to subscribe and like for more. Also, make sure to subscribe to all the great YuGiTubers that guest upload on Wednesday.
What's up, YouTube? This is BystanderX79. Guys, Jesse was so kind enough to invite me to do a deck profile for his channel. Since this is my debut on his channel, I decided to go big. And in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, going big means using a 60-card deck. So today, I'm bringing you a profile on my 60-card Danger Dark World deck. Alright, now before we get started, as always, when using deck builds you get from me or from other creators, use them as a base for your own builds. Alright, also, don't forget to let the creator know how well you do with the decks, and if you see any ratios or text cards that could be utilized in the deck to make the deck better. We're all in the same community. This is going to lead to a much stronger community for everybody, and everybody will benefit from these interactions between creator and subscribers and watchers. So without further ado, we're going to get right into this build. Alright, first things first, we're going to be talking about the monsters in this deck. Now, there are 30 monsters in this deck. 19 of them are from the Danger archetype, 11 of them are from the Dark World archetype. Alright, now a few things you need to know about the Danger monsters before we move on. First, they have two effects. One of their effects activates if they're discarded from your hand to your graveyard. And all of those effects are actually different for each Danger monster. So you're going to be getting a myriad of different effects if you discard them. Alright? One effect that they do all have in the same is what I like to call their hunt effect. Now, how does the hunt effect work on the Danger monsters? It's easy. Basically, you have a Danger monster in your hand. You reveal it to your opponent. After that, shuffle your hand, and your opponent randomly selects one card from your hand. Now, if the hunt was successful for your opponent and they select the monster you revealed, you discard that monster from your hand to your graveyard, and from there you can activate its discard effect. However, if the hunt was unsuccessful for your opponent, you get to special summon the monster you revealed to the field, and you can draw your card. This allows you to keep your hand advantage for the turn, and it opens up a whole lot more plays, and adds consistency to this deck like there's nobody's business. Alright, now in the case of Danger Bigfoot, that we have 3 copies of. If it's sent from your hand to your graveyard, you can target one face-up card your opponent controls, whether it be a monster, or a spell, or trap, and destroy it. So this offers some serious spot removal for the deck, and allows you to basically remove problematic cards in order to help you push for game. Alright. Going forward, we have 3 copies of Danger Chupacabra. If this card is sent from your hand to your graveyard, you can target one Danger monster in your graveyard and special summon it to the field. Awesome. It's a level 4. Dark Attribute is also a Fiend monster, which means it works insanely well with the Gates of Dark World. So don't forget about this card while it's in your graveyard. Alright. Next up, we have 3 copies of Danger Jackalope. If this card is discarded from your hand to your graveyard, you get to special summon any Danger monster you want from your deck to the field in face-up defense position. So adding that extra body onto the field to help you open up your Link plays, or even Xyz plays for that matter, is always huge. Okay. I run 2 copies of Danger Mothman. If this card is discarded from your hand from your graveyard, you basically get an effect similar to that of Dark World Dealings, where both players draw a card and then both players discard a card. Since every monster in this deck has an effect that activates when it's discarded from your hand to your graveyard, you're going to be bound to get some sort of effect going to help you build your field for the turn. Alright, next up we have 3 copies of Danger Nessie. Alright, if Nessie is sent from your hand to the graveyard, you get to search your deck for any danger card you want. And that is huge because Nessie doesn't just search out other danger monsters, she also searches out your danger spells and your danger traps. So, in a pinch, you can go for a particular spell, which I happen to have in this deck, to help you get stuff off the board as well. Alright. I have 2 copies of Danger Thunderbird. Alright, Danger Thunderbird is at 2 because it only goes after set cards on the field if it's discarded from your hand to your graveyard. Alright, not that many decks out there really set that much. I think Altergeist, Sky Strikers, and probably True Dracos are your primary decks, but with the Rise of Thunder Dragons and FTK versions of this deck, you're not going to be seeing a lot of back row being set still, so that's why it's only at 2. Alright, and last danger monsters that you're going to turn around and do is Danger Suki no Go. Alright, whenever Danger Suki no Go is discarded from your hand to your graveyard, you get to special summon it. So this card actually has 2 effects that allows you to get it onto the field fast. It allows you to go for your link plays a whole lot easier. It's level 3, which means you can have access to rank 3 plays as well. Alright. Now, go to the Dark Worlds. Okay. I run 2 copies of Beige Vanguard of the Dark World. Okay. Whenever this card is discarded by a card effect, you can special summon it right from the graveyard. Okay. The primary reason why this card is in the deck is because A, it's level 4, which means it's easy to normal summon onto the field in case you need to get that one normal summon going. And the other reason is because it's an effect. Discarding it to the graveyard allows it to special summon itself so you can actually bounce it back for Grapha's effect. And summon Grapha from the grave. Alright? I feel 2 is actually the best ratio to run this card at. Even in the 60 card deck, it's always worth having. So, alright, next we have 3 copies of Brow Huntsman on the Dark World. Okay, if Brow is discarded from your hand to the graveyard by a card effect, you get to draw a card. So effectively, you'll be replacing it and keeping card advantage and being able to draw more cards. Alright, of course I mentioned this with Beige, but I have 3 copies of Grapha, Lord of the Dark World. Grapha is used while it sits in the graveyard. You can actually target one of your face-up Dark World monsters on the field, bounce it back to your hand, to special summon this guy from the graveyard. It's such a huge effect. It's such a great effect for the deck. If this card is discarded from by a card effect to your graveyard, guess what? You're going to be targeting one card on the field and destroying it. Doesn't matter if it's face up or face down, you're just taking out that card. So this plus Bigfoot is offering you a ton of spot removal to get problematic cards off the field. And since it's level 8, it combos with Bigfoot and Thunderbird so well to go into your rank 8 plays. Alright, and the last Dark World monster, and the last monster in the deck I'm going to showcase for you is 3 copies of Snow, Unlight of the Dark World. What happens when Snow is sent to the graveyard, well, discarded to the graveyard by a card effect, is that you get to search out any Dark World card you want. Just like Nessie, it searches out not just the monsters, but spells and traps as well. So it makes her a very useful card in this deck. She's also level 4 in case you need to use that one normal summon to get Grapha onto your field from the graveyard. Okay, on to the spells. Alright, for the first spell I'm running is 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. Okay, Allure works with every single monster in this deck since they're all Dark Attributes. So, as long as you draw into at least one Dark Attribute monster, you're going to be getting a +1. Pretty awesome. Alright, can't run a Danger Dark World deck without this card. This card actually came off on the last ban list as Konami's way of pushing the Danger decks. So, card destruction is insanely huge because you can discard your entire hand, set off a ton of effects all at once, and then replace your entire hand with it. It's awesome, it's great disruption, and it really can help you get things going even faster. Alright, I mentioned this when I was talking about Danger Nessie, about searching out danger spells, and I have 3 copies of Danger Response Team. Alright, now Danger Response Team is huge because it's basically like a spell version of Phoenix Wing Blast. Basically, as long as you have a face-up danger monster on the field, basically you target that monster plus one other monster on the field and return them back to your hand, which is awesome. Alright, this card also has another effect where you have a danger card in your hand. You can discard that card, add Danger Response Team back to the bottom of your deck, and then you can draw a card as well. I actually love this particular card because it's a non-destruction monster removal effect, and it can also help you get a card back into your deck, so it can prevent you from decking yourself out if you overextend a lot. Alright, mentioned this when I was talking about Danger Mothman. I have 3 copies of Dark World Dealings. I actually prefer Dark World Dealings in this deck over Trade-In, since Trade-In only works with 8 of the monsters I have. Dark World Dealings works with every single monster. It adds that level of consistency. You draw, both players draw 1, both players discard 1, so you can really pick up on your opponent's strategy about what they need at the moment, and hopefully that insight excuse me, helps you to utilize the next card. And that would be 3 copies of Drag Down into the Grave. Basically, both players get to reveal their hands to each other. You select 1 card, discard it to the graveyard, and then both players can draw a card. Getting insight information on your opponent's hand can help you set up your plays so well in this deck, it's not even funny. Its draw effect is also awesome. Alright, of course I have Foolish Burial because you want to get Grapha or any other monster you want into your graveyard so you can get your plays going faster. Alright, Monster Reborn, just in case you don't have a way to special summon out Grapha from the graveyard or any other danger monster from your graveyard. Got the old standby right there. Since this is a 60 card deck, Pot of Desires shines insanely well. I've been testing this deck with this card in it so much. Guys, the ratios in this deck are perfect. This card doesn't take anything away from your deck. It thins your deck out. It gives you that +1. It needs to be run in this deck at 2. I don't feel 3 is, just for me, overkill in this deck. 2 is more than enough for this card, and it just helps his deck so well. Alright, Soul Charge, because you want to get stuff back onto the field in mass to help you build fields, or rebuild fields, or just add onto the field as well. Downside is you can't attack the turn you use it, but having it around does allow you to build that massive field. And last but not least, we have the Gates of Dark World. Alright, how it powers up all Fiend and Tribute monsters, or Fiend type monsters, excuse me, by 300 attack and defense, which is awesome. Its draw effect basically allows you to banish a Fiend from your graveyard, discard a Fiend from your hand, and then draw a card. Alright, so that's all your Dark World monsters, plus Danger Chupacabra. Okay, so on to the traps. As you can see, I'm running 3 copies of Danger Zone in this deck. What does Danger Zone do? It basically allows you to draw 3 cards and discard 2 cards, including 1 other danger card in your hand. Alright? That being good. If you don't have a danger card in your hand, you have to reveal your hand to your opponent and shuffle the entire thing. So you basically lose your hand if you don't have a danger card in your hand. With 19 danger monsters plus the other 2 copies of Danger Zone, and 3 copies of Danger Response Team, you're going to have a danger card in the hand of this card, so don't worry about it. Now, a lot of people might not like playing this card since it's a trap card and it's kind of slow, but I do run another card that can get it out onto the deck and it'll even allow you to activate it on your turn. Alright. Next trap card is going to be Mind Crush. Since we are playing Drag Down into the Grave, that information you gather can help this card become extremely good just by looking at your opponent's hand, taking out one problematic card, and then using this card to follow up and just rip those rest of those cards out of your opponent's hand. It just opens up a whole lot of difficulties for your opponent and it puts you in a much more better position to really control the outcome of the duel. And the last trap, which is the one I was talking about when I was talking about Danger Zone, is 3 copies of Trap Trick. Alright, this card has been getting an insane a lot of attention, basically because what it does, you activate this card, you can banish 1 normal trap card from your deck to set another copy of that same trap card to your field. So effectively, this card can thin out your main deck by 2 cards just with its activation. Alright? You are allowed to activate that trap card you set from your deck that turn, but you're only allowed to activate 1 trap card for the rest of that turn, which really isn't that bad of a thing, because let's face it, getting an access to an immediate danger zone is like having Graceful Charity back in your deck. Having Mind Crush getting Mind Crush onto the field is basically allowing you to basically keep your opponent's plays from going completely and totally wild. So this card has some serious utility, and like I said, it thins out your deck by 3, which makes it so epically awesome. Alright, so on to the extra deck. And as you can see, I'm going to start off with the rank 3 plays. The first rank 3 I'm going to talk about is Leviator the Sea Dragon. Basically, by detaching 1 overlay material from this card, you can target 1 face-up monster in your banner zone and special summon it to your field. I can't turn around and tell you how huge that is just for being able to extend into the banner zone to get something back. If you have a powerful monster, you can get it back into the field in attack position, or if you need a particular monster of a certain level, you can bring it back onto the field to help extend into your other Xyz plays. And in general, just a good bringing back a banished monster could also help you in like summoning as well. So, ultimately, I feel that 1 copy of this card is more than enough. I haven't really seen the need to run this card at more than 1. If you're playing this deck and you feel that you need an extra copy, please just knock out one of the other rank 3 monsters that you don't want in the deck to add in a second copy. Alright, next card, number 47, Nightmare Shark. By detaching 1 material from this card can attack your opponent's life base directly. Since it has 2,000 attack, you're going to be doing some serious damage to your opponent that way. This card is extremely good, especially if time is called during your battle phase, because this card can just hop over your opponent's life monsters and hit their life points hard and to help you win games. So, 1 card that does require a little bit more setup is DD Stone King Darius, who requires 2 level 3 Fiend monsters, and we do have 3 copies of Brow, of the Huntsman of the Dark World, so you can use those to build into this guy. Basically, the effect you're going to be wanting to use is detach 1 material from this card. This card becomes undestroyable by battle. You can crash it into a bigger monster, and then after damage calculation, this card's effect activates and it can destroy whatever it attacked and hit your opponent for 500 points of damage. So it can get off problematic monsters and just hit your opponent for extra damage as well. Alright, for rank 4 plays, this card is going to be king in your extra deck, Abyss Dweller. And the primary reason why this card is so important is basically because with the way the meta is shaped up, Thunder Dragons are a thing, other danger decks are a thing. This card on the field, by detaching 1 material from this card, you're shutting down all effects that activate in the graveyard. Which means Dangers, Dark Worlds, Burning Abyss, Thunder Dragons, they all lose their effects in their graveyard. Holding off your opponent like that is with this card is going to be huge, and it's going to be necessary. Alright. Evil Swarm Excited Knight. It's decided to be back off the ban list, and it's decided to do its job, which is a quick play effect to basically blow up the entire field except for itself. And of course, you got the Utopia package right there, because swinging over an opponent's monster with 5,000 attack is something they're not going to really sneeze at or take very lightly. I mean, even a Utopia Lightning swinging over something like a Colossus, it's going to cause some serious damage, even if Colossus isn't destroyed. Alright, for the rank 8 plays, I run one copy of number 38, Hope Harbinger Dragon Titanic Galaxy. This is a great turn 1 card because you can just have 2 level 8 monsters on the field, overlay them into this card, and you can just sit on this card. Your opponent activates a spell card, you can actually negate that spell card's effect, and it becomes an overlay unit for this card, which is awesome. Its other effect basically allows you to detach an overlay unit, and your opponent's forced to attack this monster instead. And with 3,000 attack points, it's something that your opponent's not going to want to be swinging into unless they have something bigger. And then, of course, I run the 3-card Galaxy Eyes package. Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon, Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Full Time Dragon, and number 96 Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter Dragon. The primary reason why I'm not running Cypher Blade in this is because Danger Bigfoot, Danger Thunderbird, and Graph of the Dark World are already doing so much disruption with their effects that you really don't need that extra pop from Cypher Blade. I find it a lot more easier just to turn around, go into Cypher, still one of your opponent's monsters, go into full armor to pop a card you need to get rid of off the field, and then go into Galaxy Dark Matter to basically swing twice with 4,000 attack points. Alright, for the links, only 4 links, and 2 of them are Witch Apprentice. She is insanely awesome. Power boosts all Dark Retributive monsters by 500 attack points. If she's ever destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you're getting a Dark Retributive monster back from your graveyard back to your hand, which is awesome because you can recycle your danger monsters very easily to keep doing the hunt effect over and over again. So that's awesome. And of course, I do run Saruja Skulldread as a link 4. I like Skulldread in this primarily because it's so easy to build using this deck because you can drop so many different monsters onto the field at once. Using 2 monsters with different names, you can basically power boost any monster by 300 attack points that it points to. So just be careful to whatever your opponent puts in the zone that it points to in their field. Using 3 monsters with different names, you could actually get an extra special summon from your hand to the field, which is the effect I tend to actually like the most. Because if you're down to 1 card in your hand and that's a big monster and you just don't want to use the hunt effect on, say, Danger Bigfoot, you can just special summon it to your field and bam, it's there. And your opponent's got to deal with it. And of course, the last one is if you use 4 monsters with different names, you get to draw 4 cards, and then you're allowed to take 3 cards from your hand and put them back at the bottom of your deck, so you can actually fix your hand to the situation you need it. All three effects are easy to do. Like I said, it's easy to do with this deck. I just prefer the stopping with the 3 named ones because that extra special summon is really all that this deck needs. And last but not least, you have Boral Sword Dragon. Drop a big field. After you get this guy on the field, swing. Do some serious damage, swing with him, put one of your monsters in defense position, swing with him again, and that just facilitates OTKs right there to help you end the duel fast. Alright, so that's it for my 60-card Danger Dark World deck profile. Guys, if you liked the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this on this channel, make sure to subscribe. Enable notifications so you don't miss a single upload. Guys, Jesse is doing me a major solid by putting the link to my page in the description box below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and notify there as well. And until next time, guys, peace.